Yeah, I mean, listen, I've interviewed Jazz Prince. I don't know Jay Prince Jr., and I'm sure that they're going through a lot of mourning right now and a lot of guilt over whatever their role was in this situation, however minor it is. You know, maybe just saying, oh, if I never called him to come hang out, maybe some of this would have happened. You know, like Mike Tyson in our interview said how he felt bad pressuring Tupac to come to his fight because then he got killed, right? It's not like Mike had any role in that, but he, in our interview, said, yo, if I hadn't called him and pressured him to come, you know, bring the song, he would still be alive today, possibly.
It was really a bad day when that happened. I just knew it was really bad. And I felt a little guilty about him coming to the fight, me pressuring him for the, hey, yo, bring the tape, don't forget the tape, you know? And I was going to go out with him that night. I promised to go to 662 with him that night. But I had just had a little baby, and her mother was provoking me to stay home, so I stayed with the baby, and then someone called me that night and told me that happened. And this is just what we do. You know, I come to my senses, I come to my objectivity, and I know who I am. I know what my element's about. In my world, this is what happens in my world. This is what happens in my world. That was part of my world. My world, this happens. But just because it was Tupac and I was attached to it, it was different.
I know that they're mourning. I know that they're sad. And it's a fucked up, sad situation that should have never happened. And I think that when you see a tragedy like this, everyone who's still alive needs to take a step back and think about when they've possibly made similar mistakes that could have gotten them caught up in something like this and say, okay, I'm at a level in my life, I'm at a stage in my life, I have a family, I have kids, I have a lot of money coming in, I have people I support. I don't want to potentially put myself in a situation where I can get hit with a stray bullet. Just like, listen, when I first started Vlad TV, I would go to anyone's hood with a camera by myself, pull up on the block, pull my camera out, everyone's around, you know, people have guns tucked in, they're looking around, head on a swivel, waiting for a drive-by. And I was like, okay, whatever, this is just part of doing my job. At age 49, where I am in my life, there's no way in God I would do that. In fact, most times, I mean, really like in LA, it's very rare that I will do an interview outside of my own studio. Right. When people say, no, come to my studio, come to my house, unless you're a very, very big figure, I usually say no.
I can think of a few people I would pull up to their house, but it basically means you're like a real A-lister.
Right. I mean, when I was in Vegas, Teddy Riley was supposed to do an interview in a studio, but then he came back and said, I'd rather do it at my house. I'm like, okay, it's Teddy Riley.
Right.
And it's also, there's a certain level of, okay, he's going to be comfortable in his own home.
Right.
We could potentially get a better interview. But it's Teddy Riley. He's 50-something years old. He's never really been involved in no fuck shit. Okay, I made an exception that one time. But even then, trying to set up and everything else like that there's more work involved. These days, people hit me in LA, oh, come to my house, come to my studio. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
And it's a no for me just because of the travel time and everything and like setup time. It's like, it might take me the time. It might take me 6 hours. It might take me, you know, to go to your place, do the interview, set up everything.
Yeah.
It's like realistically, I could be in my studio and do 3 interviews in the same amount of time that it would take me to go to your crib and do 1. So unless there's like a power dynamic where it's like, oh, okay, you're the big shit in the room to such an extent that I kind of got to play by your rules. For the most part, yeah, I'm avoiding that.
No, listen, I mean, Drake, he would call me and said, come to my house.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if he has a house out here anymore, but I'm sure he has something out here. Yeah, okay, cool. Kodak Black calls me up. All right, cool. But outside of that, like I literally have turned down dozens of interviews of people asking me to go to their location.